It is finally draft day, 49er fans, and it is time to reveal the 30 prospects that came in to visit the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is top secret information. Well, not really, but Steph Sanchez of 49 Carrots on YouTube, make sure you go sub to her channel. She does a absolute phenomenal job of tracking all of the 49ers pre-draft visits and all the players who have came in for their 30 visits. So what we are going to do is we're going to go down the list of all the players that have been confirmed and visited, meaning they have gone to Santa Clara to go visit and meet with the San Francisco 49ers prior to the draft. So let's take a look at the list, shall we? Starting off with wide receiver, we see Xavier Legette, South Carolina. Wide receiver, Malachi Corley, Western Kentucky. A lot of people have compared him to Debo Samuel in regards to his play style. Javon Baker, the wide receiver out of USC. Jacob Cowing, the Arizona wide receiver. Johnny Wilson, 6'6" monster. Out of Florida State, and Bub Means out of Pittsburgh. This is actually a guy that I have mocked to the San Francisco 49ers in the 7th round in some of my previous mock drafts. Now, when you look at these wide receivers, these are some quality players. I would be happy with any one of these guys if the San Francisco 49ers were able to get them. They all look like fringe first, second round players. Jacob Cowing, Johnny Wilson, maybe third, fourth rounder. Bub Means definitely a little bit later. But it's interesting to see. 49er fans really want to see the 49ers target offensive line. And when you look at these particular prospects, some names that you definitely might know and some that you don't know. I would say the biggest one that stands out is Kingsley Suamataia, the BYU tackle who has been kind of fringe first round consideration. He's considered very athletically gifted, but a little bit raw. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ultimately goes. Blake Fisher. This one is one of the most exciting names that I have on this list because I think he is a very, very underrated right tackle out of Notre Dame. I went in to watch Joe Alt, and I came out very impressed with Blake Fisher. I think he can play right tackle, and I also think he can play guard. And he's very consistent, and it's one of the things that I like most about him. You also had Layden Robinson and Caden Wallace out of Penn State to round out the list. Not that many offensive linemen. And don't forget, though, John Lynch and Chris Forster made a personal visit to go and work out Roger Rosengarten at Washington. Now, the defensive line list, I like this a lot. Most of these guys, you have a mixture of edge and defensive tackles. Marshawn Keelan is one of the big risers in this draft. He's been a guy who's got phenomenal traits as an edge rusher. And you also have Chris Braswell, I believe, out of Alabama, who's also been an underrated prospect as well. Michael Hall Jr. is one of the first defensive tackle prospects that I started breaking down throughout this draft season. He is young and he is a gifted pass rusher on the interior. Very quick, very violent, and he gets upfield in a hurry. Brandon Dorlus as well is kind of an edge defensive tackle hybrid. I see him playing 3-tech in the NFL. McKinley Jackson out of Mississippi, I think it's Miss State. He's a guy that I spoke to at the combine, and I just loved his attitude. Like, you could tell he's a dog. Like, there's a certain mentality that certain defensive players have where they're just mean and they just want to destroy people. That's kind of what McKinley Jackson's vibe was, and that's why I really liked him. He didn't test particularly well in anything, but he plays well, and I would like the 49ers to look at him. And you also had Evan Anderson. The 49ers are also looking at cornerbacks. You have Nate Wiggins, Andrew Phillips, DeCamerion Richardson, and Shao Smith-Wade. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson is a very interesting prospect. He's the fastest cornerback in this class. great athlete, and he'd honestly be a great fit if the 49ers were able to get him at 31. I actually had to choose between him. I actually had to choose between him and Cooper DeJean in at pick 31 in the Bleacher Report mock draft. I ultimately landed Cooper DeJean just because of the versatility that DeJean has and can also be a returner as well. But Nate Wiggins could be a big time cornerback in this league. Andrew Phillips as well is a good cornerback. Watched his tape a little bit. He's a pretty solid prospect. DeCamerion Richardson is someone I spoke to at the NFL Combine who also met with the San Francisco 49ers there and also had a meeting in person with a top 30 visit. He is very fast. He's one of the faster cornerbacks in this league. Tall, has good length, could be an interesting prospect for the 49ers. And Smith Wade, the cornerback out of Washington State, he's a little bit smaller. Kind of reminds me of Diamador Lenore a little bit, where I think he has inside out versatility. He can play outside, he can play inside, he could do a bunch of different things, but he would be an interesting prospect to see the 49ers draft. And then you have three safety prospects Javon Bullard, Kalen Bullock. Both those guys feel like second round draft picks. And then Sione Vaikai, maybe a little bit later, fourth or fifth round with him. But the 49ers have made it known that they are interested in bringing in more safety. So they could definitely do that. They're bringing in Trevin Wallace and Tatum Bethune at linebacker and Eric All, tight end out of Iowa. Could they be going back to the George Kittle well to try to bring in some? Damn. To try to bring in some of that George Kittle magic? Potentially. But nonetheless, these are the prospects that the San Francisco 49ers have brought in for 30 visits and some good names on that list. And I could definitely see the San Francisco 49ers drafting some of these guys. And not only do you do this research for the draft right now, but who knows? Maybe if you miss out on some of these guys and they become free agents in a couple years, 49ers could rely on their pre-draft intel to be like, this is a guy that we would target in free agency if they become available. But so far, the wide receiver list stands out to me, and the defensive line list stands out to me. In regards to some of the players that they have, I would say Nate Wiggins stands out, and like I said, I like the Blake Fisher addition as well. So you guys let me know, are there any players on that list that you would like to see the San Francisco 49ers draft? Because if so, I want to see you drop them in the comments under this video. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.